said, I don't know whether, listen, I said, first of all, if that's what Kevin Hart did, if he said, no, we're going to work together, we're going to do it, we're going to, hey, don't worry about it, we're going to work together. And if he didn't do it, hold on, let me take this man's face with his phone on his belly off my thing. It's really getting on my nerves. I said, if he didn't do that, that makes him immoral. That makes him like he should have done that, right? But then I said, then I think about it. And I say, wait a minute, maybe the problem, maybe he didn't even make the call. Maybe the manager made the call because y'all all have these little handlers. And I think part of the problem with Monique and Monique's husband is that people get upset because Monique's husband puts up a boundary that's there that means you can't get to her, and that a manager, a white manager, can't eat off her and just tell her what to do and make calls on her behalf. Because why are we in entertainment? And I said this last time, but we don't own entertainment. If there's one thing we do, we entertain, but we cannot own entertainment because there's always a manager somewhere. You can talk all that black excellence stuff you want to, but everybody got a manager that talks to a record exec who talks to somebody else who talks to a lawyer that don't look like us. So tell me about how we got there. Because that's the manager. So I'm just gonna listen. I'm not hating on nobody, but I just want to talk about managers for a second. So because I saw the Joe Budden part. This is Joe Budden's manager, Ian Schwartzman. So if we're going to have a conversation, if everybody want to talk about managers and tell the truth and shame the devil, nobody ever talked about that conversation Ian Schwartzman had. Because let me go back. Let me go back for a second. That's his manager, but let me go back to the show. So I'm talking about everybody who had a take on this, because I feel like everybody is trying to manipulate the conversation. So let me just make sure. That we understand. So if you listen to Joe Budden said, everybody lies. That's just, I'm gonna come back to that Ian fellow. He says everybody lies. That's just how it is in Hollywood. So if Kevin Hart told Monique that, she shouldn't have went back and told her production company. That's why we hate y'all. That's why y'all don't tell me about black excellence, because that's what y'all do. Y'all ain't no different than the white folk. You lie and move on. But let me just keep going for a second. That's not a moral thing to do. It's not moral to do that. But let me say something else. Let me show you why this is a stupid take. This is a stupid take because it is. Kevin Hart had loaned Monique and her husband money. If you loan me money, this is not just some Hollywood stuff. You a real friend. If you loan me money, my assumption is, if you loan me a nice chunk of change to make my way through, my assumption is, and it's a legitimate assumption, is that you good people. So if you good people, then I can make another assumption that if you said we're going to work together, we're going to work together. Here's another reason why Joe Budden's take was half crazy. He said, well, you still shouldn't say that. Why I shouldn't say that? Because here's the other second part of it. The context of the conversation, I wish half of y'all would do y'all research and listen to more than 10 minutes before you go on the show and try to pod. I mean, if that's your job and you get Balenciaga and all kind of other clothes off that, at least take 10 minutes and respect your audience and listen to it. Because the thing that happened is it was making up for something. So Monique was talking to Kevin Hart. She wanted Tyler Perry to make it right and do what he needed to do. And Kevin Hart said, yeah, I understand, Monique, everything you're saying, but I'm going to make it right. Me and you going to work together, meaning you ain't going to have to go through Tyler Perry, because me and you going to make it right. We going to work together. So it wasn't just some Hollywood stuff, but we dap each other up like y'all do, you weirdo narcissists. That's not what we're talking about. It was because Kevin Hart said himself, this is my mother, this is my sister, this is my auntie. So I'm taking it off. Okay, you talked to Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry said he don't want to revisit it. But listen, Mo, me and you gonna make it right. Me and you gonna do this. That sounds like a brother to sister conversation. A man who loaned me money, he talked to Tyler Perry on my behalf, and he said, we're going to work together. Of course, I let my studio know. How does that person who took a person on his word, who had been good to her, how does that person come out to be the bad guy? Only among selfish people who want what's best for themselves, or who just didn't pay attention to the conversation. I'm telling you that Hollywood, including, right? Curtis Keller, listen, I'm not saying Monique don't have agency. When did I say that? Tell me when I say that. Put it in the chat where I said she doesn't have agency. I'm saying what makes sense in a conversation. It makes sense in a conversation. If Kevin Hart has been good people to me, he has been decent to me, he knows what I'm going through. We did a podcast together. I told him all the stuff, and he said, I'm going to make it right. It makes sense in the context of that conversation. The context of that conversation, it then makes sense to say, okay, let's get the people, let's get it going. No, you got to be clear. Use your words, Curtis. You speaking as she does. No, you got to say, you got to be clearer with your words. I'm not going to rush you. I'm on live, but you can be clearer with your words than you speaking as she does. Use your words. Pick up a thesaurus and let's get busy. Please, because this makes sense. You don't get to be the bad guy off of that conversation. Right? And like, if y'all got to stop talking all this brother, sister stuff. Y'all got to stop talking all these. No, I'm saying that you have agency amongst each other. I'm not saying that you get to run up and take over white Hollywood. I'm saying in the interactions that you have with other people. So if I'm saying that if Kevin Hart can put Tiffany Haddish on, he could make the request for Monique. Now, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.